Check it out. It's time for you to get ahead of the pack and get a new Coyote from West End Sales in Vail. Ask about their 6-year unlimited hour warranty and a free loader with qualifying tractors. That's West End Sales, located at 110 North Highway 18 in Vail.
And we're back on Saturday morning. Hopefully now Sports Talk.
Yes, indeed, JP. Thank you for bringing us back. We are, in fact, getting ready to delve into the world of sports, and we're going to start with the sport that actually is going right now.
Let me talk about that sport.
Yes, I know, Terry. You're itching right now to talk about it. Kevin is going to want to talk about it. Tom probably going to put a little bit of input into it.
And I'm going
if Calvin's here, Calvin will come down here and put his 2 cents into it as well. It is NASCAR, and for those of you that don't know, you can listen to NASCAR here on KTC Broadcasting as well. So if you don't want to watch it and you're trying to sit back and relax and listen to it, you can listen to it on our radio stations. Kevin, are you there? Because we're getting ready to probably talk about the one thing that you do want to talk about. Chevrolet is taking the winners of the second part of Charlotte Motor Speedway. And I know Kevin is happy as can be that the Chevrolets are actually running good this year because that means Jimmy Johnson has got a chance. But the winner from the second, what do they call? What do they want to call it? The second leg at Charlotte Motor Speedway, because they raced.
That was going to be the Roval.
It wasn't the Roval.
Yeah.
No. 300.
I don't know.
It was 300 laps, something like that. Anyways, the winner was Chase Elliott. Chase Elliott did come out on top. Was not my pick to win, but hey, he came out on top, and he's probably happy he did come out on top because then him telling Kyle Busch that he really was number one paid off because he got the last laugh, it seems, because he came out with a victory.
Get out of
he
here.
He would have won twice in 4
Get
races
outta
then
here.
if he would have won that Darlington
Kyle?
race. Yeah,
Or no, Chase. Yeah.
Come on.
I mean, really, he should have won twice in 4 races. I mean, when he got wrecked, I mean, he was going to win that race, and then he won the second Charlotte race.
There's no guarantee he would have won that race.
I don't know.
There's
Hunter.
no guarantee.
It sure looked like he was going to win that race.
That we would even be saying this. I know when I come in, Calvin was talking about Chase Elliott. And I said, oh, my goodness. Here goes Calvin talking about Chase Elliott. You know, but then he told me, he said his favorite driver was Cole Custer. Hey, I give him a lot of credit for that. I mean, Cole Custer, everybody, tell him Calvin is a fan.
Yeah,
But on my end, I never want to hear a guy come out here and salute in the truck series after he wins the truck series and Kyle finishes second. And then he gets out there and he does the Kyle Busch impersonating of saluting everybody. Don't even come out there. So, I mean, you think you're good? Hey, Kyle Busch has 210 victories to his maybe 14, 16, 17, maybe total of his whole career. So when you have been in it long enough that you get over 100, come and talk to me. But you cannot deal with a guy who's won 210 races, 56 NASCAR Cup Series, 97 Xfinity, and 57 Truck Series, and you say you're pretty good. So you had a great day. Do not come and talk to me again until you win again.
Well, Terry, just tell me how you really feel. You can't let the guy just have a victory.
Hunter.
Yeah.
Hunter, can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we got you, Kevin. I got you turned on.
Ask Terry what place in the standings Kyle Busch is currently.
Terry, I'll give you an
Okay,
opportunity.
we're at like going one season. How many NASCAR?
I know, yeah, right now.
many?
You know, this year, this is the
Yeah,
current
that's
year.
right. This year now. Okay, how many championships does Chase have? Okay, never mind. Never mind.
Well, nobody's got a championship in 2020.
Yeah, he's ahead of him right now, but when the season's over, Kyle Busch will be in front.
What place is Kyle Busch in?
He's 12th. I know where he's at.
12th.
But then you know what? All you got to do is be in that top 16. It's like playing the NBA or some of these other sports that brings everybody to the market when we go to playoff time for you to have a chance. So all you got to do is be in the top 16, and you're going to be able to have a shot.
So Hunter,
Yeah.
the great Kyle Busch,
Defending champion.
When he doesn't have the best equipment, all of a sudden he's running 12th, and he blamed it. One part didn't work on his truck, and that was somebody else's fault. and you see it's just rubbing. It's bacteria. It's rubbing off on you. It's not a good. It's not a good. It's not good for you. I think you just need more happiness in your life. You need to pick a different driver.
No.
Because it's something. They're blowing smoke up your. You know what? Winning all these little races with the best cars and everything.
Terry, I hear Cole Custer's looking for
No,
fans.
Kevin, it's one of those things when people start giving money away for you to get beat that you're on top of the world. That's the worst part about it.
Nobody's doing it in the NASCAR series. He's running 12th.
Well, he did win at Charlotte a few nights prior, but it was in the Xfinity series. Chase Elliott came out on top. Obviously, this past week. Wait, no, they moved the race from Wednesday to, was it last night or Thursday? I can't quite remember. It was just due to weather. If you've realized anything, it's that North Carolina has basically been underwater for, I don't know, 2.5 weeks almost, it seems. It just seems like it's been raining constantly. And I'm actually very surprised that they were able to even get that race in. Seriously. I was actually very surprised they were able to get that race in.
Well, I was just reading up a little bit on Calvin Hastings' new favorite driver, Cole Custer. He does pretty good on the short tracks, Terry. Said in the Xfinity Series, he had a number of top 10s. He was top 10 at Phoenix and other short tracks. Maybe Cole Custer can break through. I tell you what I like about him. He's got my favorite number. He's got my high school football number, 41.
There you go.
He's earned another fan. The Cole Custer bandwagon now
So he
has
just
2
gained
people.
2 fans
Two.
in here this
So that's
morning.
who I'm pulling for. So now I've got me a driver. Remember the other day, Kevin, I said I couldn't find me a driver? I didn't know who to pull for. And Kevin was telling me who to pull for. He said, just pull against Kyle Busch.
I think there's conspiracy going on here. Kevin jumped from the Cowboys to the Browns, so you've got another man with you over on that end.
That's right.
I mean, and now you and Calvin. What is this?
I've got some.
Are y'all teaming up or something?
I just can't jump. It's like I can't just get on the Jimmy Johnson bandwagon or the Kyle Busch, because then it just looks like. But I like Calvin's pitch for Cole Custer. He's got an awesome name. He's got a historical name. He's got a great number. He's driving a Ford Mustang. You know who else drives a Ford Mustang? I do.
Yeah, but you've been trying to get rid of that thing.
Tom.
I have too many vehicles.
Tom.
I will say I have too many
Think
vehicles.
for yourself.
I think I have.
Think for yourself. If you want to be a Cole Custer fan, I'll text Jesse and let him know that Cole know
We're
that he's
jumping on
got
a bandwagon.
multiple fans here at KTC
I got
Broadcast.
something to keep
Every
me interested
time.
in a race this week.
There you go.
Every time y'all say that name, I'm thinking Colonel Mustard on the racetrack with the tire iron.
Colonel Mustard.
Colonel Mustard. I thought you were going to
sounds like
say
him,
Colonel
Custard.
Custard or Cold Custard.
I thought
That's what
you were-
it sound
I thought you were
like.
going to say
On the
like
racetrack
from
with
Custer's
tire
Last
iron.
Stand.
Oh man.
That's who killed Mr. Body or the mechanic. Who knows?
But you know, as far as Elliott, congratulations, you won a race, buddy. But you're nowhere near the top 10 in NASCAR total drivers. And by the end of your career, you might be. I'm not going to say no about that because he's got a long ways to go, you know. But as far as Kyle Busch, come talk to me after you get to 100 victories, and we'll see where you're at. I got a feeling, and this is my speak to Chase Elliott, you're not probably never going to win 100.
Terry.
I don't know. We're going to have to do a little research
Terry, I kind
now.
of feel
Come
like
and
you're
talk
just being
to me when you
disrespectful.
do. Come and talk to me
I
when
think
you
it's
do.
just being a little bit disrespectful.
I'm not being
But,
disrespectful.
Terry, are you impressed that it seems Chevrolet has got all the problems that they had last year? At least from optically, these first few races back, it looks like they've got their problems fixed.
Yeah, they have, and I agree with that. I'm glad because, I mean, really, I am a Toyota man because I drive Toyota truck, but also have my wife has a Chevrolet car. So I pull for both. And then when Junior was driving Chevrolet, I was totally in on all that. But I have a hard time going to Ford, Tom. I'm just sorry.
I know.
But anyway.
Yeah, and actually, fun fact for all of you, Calvin has informed me that we have the Chase Elliott interview
Yes, how about
from
that?
his victory. So we're
Boy.
going to play that for you guys here in just a second. Calvin, is it queued up and ready? All right, we're going to send it over to Calvin
Chase
for him
Elliott,
to
you've
play
been
that.
so close so many times this year, including Sunday night in the Coca-Cola 600. Now here you are at the start-finish line, massive burnout, celebrating as a winner. How does it feel to be back in victory lane again at Charlotte?
Yeah, it feels great. This is a really tough week for sure, and Sunday was as tough of a loss as I've probably had, I think, as we have had as a team. So we just really proud of the fight. Our group's been doing a really good job these last 2 weeks and bringing fast race cars and executing, and we just haven't had the results I feel like that we need to get. So it worked out tonight. I was shocked. I couldn't believe the caution didn't come out, or I didn't crash, or somebody didn't crash, or I didn't break something, or blow up, or I was just waiting on something to happen. So glad it worked out.
That was a long 60-lap run all the way to the checkered flag. Once you got around Kevin Harvick and you took the lead, what was going through your mind?
Well, I felt like Kevin was really good on the short run. I think they had his car pretty tuned up to go fast, and I think that you're going to see a lot of that throughout the year. You're going to see a lot of that throughout the year, and luckily I think our car was pretty good on the long run, and luckily that's what we got.
All right, here he is, your winner of the Alsco Uniforms 500, Chase Elliott in victory lane.
And there was Chase Elliott after his victory in Charlotte. He said he was just happy to be back on the victory podium, and he was very surprised that nothing went wrong for him. That might be, I guess, a lot of NASCAR racers' feelings, I guess, when the race is over, because it is everything is moving so fast. And there is always the possibility of just that one wrong move. Maybe the spotter doesn't quite see the guy coming up in your blind spot. Maybe you don't see him. And you have to worry about 20 to 30 other people around you, not just yourself. They always tell you be a defensive driver when you're driving on the road. But you're asking these drivers to not only be defensive, but they have to be aggressive at the same time. So you have to find that happy medium. I think Chase Elliott made a very good point, even though he was kind of joking about it, that essentially everything just had to go right for him. And it did. Everything went right for him. And Terry over here is just itching to say he just wasn't challenged.
Well,
was he?
that is his 7th victory. He's only 24 years old. Kyle Busch, I think I just read he had 56. You said he had 100, Terry.
He does. He has.
But he's got 56 cup races.
NASCAR Cup Series races.
This is in
97 Xfinity and truck. They even talking to him about winning 100 in the Xfinity.
Okay, wait. Does Dale Earnhardt count like go-kart races in his total wins, or is it just Cup Series
The only
wins?
guy on this top
I was
3
just
list,
wondering
and
about
I know
that.
Calvin would be able to vouch for me on this. There's not but one guy on this top 3 list that could say I won all 200 NASCAR Cup victories, and that's Richard Petty. He is the only guy, because Kevin Harvick is 3rd, and I'm going to tell you how far a distance they are. Kyle Busch has 210 total. Richard Petty's got 200 NASCAR Cup victories.
Does that include like
No.
racing back to the classroom from recess?
Well, he
You
probably
counting
won
those-
every
you
one of
counting
those
wins too.
But anyway, number
Everything
3
on his
the
Huffy
list.
bike.
Number 3 on this list is Kevin Harvick. He has 111. What he is 99 behind Kyle Busch. He has 50 NASCAR Cup Series, 47 Xfinity, and 14 trucks. So he runs in every one of them too. It's just that, hey, we're talking about Xfinity, and don't get me wrong. Hey, I give Chase Elliott a lot of credit when you come out there in the trucks and he defeated him. But in Xfinity, Kyle Busch is like maybe going to win 100, but then a lot of people are going to say, okay, you're playing against lesser foes when you're down there, and he might be, because he does have a lot of experience of what he does.
That's what Kevin argues. And
I
I can
agree.
let
I
Kevin
agree
take over
some.
for that, because Kevin cannot sit here and stand probably this Chevrolet
I know, he's looking at
slander
me now
and
saying,
this
"I
Kyle
gotta say
Busch
something."
love.
I don't understand. I see. This is what happens when I'm not around. Is Terry starts reading the minor league NASCAR standings. You say,
But Kevin,
What?
that's what I told him.
No,
I said, how's he
not
counting
once.
wins in the Xfinity series in his total wins?
Total
Tom,
wins.
Tom, you pointed it out. I'm glad you're there. I'm glad you're doing. I haven't said anything because Tom's doing a great job calling Terry out on his ridiculousness about this. Terry, how many home runs in minor league baseball did Babe Ruth hit?
Probably none. Probably never played it.
Well, I don't know. Either way, nobody does either. Nobody cares. What do you mean? Over here, Kyle Busch has 100 victories. Kyle Busch has 55. He's
56.
tied in 9th with Rusty Wallace.
I believe he's got 56.
Dale Earnhardt is 8th with 76.
He'll
Cale
catch
Yarborough
him.
and Jimmy Johnson have 83. Bobby Allison, 84 with Darrell Waltrip. Jeff Gordon, 93. David Pearson 105, and the King has 200 wins. Now, Terry, don't say Kyle Busch has no 100 wins. I don't care what he did in minor league baseball.
That was kind of my point, Terry. I'm not quite as caustic about it, but Terry, that is you can't say 100. He has 100 wins and he doesn't.
Tom, let me read. This says all-time combined wins in NASCAR National Series.
So
when you say all-time combined wins in NASCAR National Series, that includes all races. Trucks, Xfinity.
The piece of paper says, Tom.
That's exactly what it says.
I guess, did he deliver pizzas one time and he got it under 30 minutes and they count that as a win too, Terry?
Well,
he almost beat Richard Petty in one of them races when he was maybe 1 year old.
Well, I mean, with the final race at Charlotte this week already coming to a close, and we have named the winner in Chase Elliott, the question now becomes tomorrow at 3:30 for the Food City 500 at Bristol Motor Speedway in Tennessee. Kevin, you're going to try and roll out that way? You're going to try and
There's
sneak
no fans.
by?
There's no fans.
See, but he could probably get next to the gate or next to the fence and listen.
Listen from the outside?
Listen from the out. Those trucks.
I tell you what's cool. I used to live in Harrisburg, North Carolina, by the Speedway, and it was cool because I can go out and sit on the front porch. I lived in this little house,
listen.
and you could listen to the cars. You can watch it on TV and listen to the cars. It's actually pretty cool.
But the starting grid for this.
Speaking of listening,
go ahead.
Speaking of listening, sitting on top of this mountain, I can hear every dog bark within 50 miles.
Oh, I bet you can.
I bet it.
Well, again, Kevin, I do
wakes
want
you
to
up in the middle of the night.
Thank you for the views that you showed us a minute ago. I hope you get to do that again. That was neat. I love being up that high when I go to the mountains overlooking everything. I've always wanted to live on like out in L.A. when they're up on the top of the mountain, they're overlooking all of L.A. To me, those are neat views in our lifetime that I always like to see. Like going to Mount Mitchell overlooking everything
Well,
in North
Terry,
Carolina.
me and you just keep covering as much Friday Night Football as we can, and we might make enough money to do that.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Tom's
got to sell some more ads.
Yeah. Tom's got to sell some more ads.
Tom's not the best salesman in the world. I guess I'm too brutally honest. Is that what it is?
So the starting grid tomorrow for Bristol, sitting at 1 and 2 was Keselowski and Almirola. 3 and 4 Logano and Blaney. 5 and 6 Truex Jr. and Chase Elliott. 7 and 8 Kyle Busch, Kevin Harvick. 9 and 10 Dibendetto. I always struggle trying to say his name. Dibendetto. And Denny Hamlin. Alex Bowman at 11. Kurt Busch at 12. William Byron at 13th. Matt Kenseth at 14th. Eric Jones at 15th. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. 16th. Ryan Newman and Nemechek 17th and 18th. Buescher, that's everybody's favorite after he loves to wreck everybody, at 19th. And Austin Dillon at 20th.
He did make the chase one year.
Cole Custer, KTC Broadcasting's new favorite driver, sitting at 22.
What, I thought Calvin was.
And then
we get a little sticker for the back of one of the little tiny ones back on the quarter panel.
I'll make some phone calls, see if I can't get
KTC,
some merch.
what
but also for Kevin, Jimmy Johnson sitting at the 24 spot. So he has got quite a haul to get back to the top 10, if anything, the top 5. So just based off what I've listened so far, again, that is tomorrow at 3:30, Bristol, Connecticut, or Bristol, I always want to say Connecticut, Bristol, Tennessee, the Food City 500. Who do we have winning this? I'm going to start with Terry.
Mine's easy. Kyle Busch comes to the front and wins his, where he automatically is qualified for the chase.
All right, we're going to go over to Tom. Who do you have coming out on top?
I don't know. Chase Elliott's a hot driver right now. Maybe it's going to be Elliott.
Hey, he's sitting at the 6th spot.
This would be three out of 5 for Elliott, because he should have won 2 out of 4.
But he did.
Before he got wrecked.
He never got wrecked.
I mean, he's driving really well right now. He's young. He's got a lot of confidence. I think he's going to do well, Terry.
Well, I'm going to say one thing about it, and I am glad Bowman, Elliott, that's what NASCAR has needed. When you start losing Jeff Gordon Jr. and people like that, you got to have your young group step up, and they are. And I will say that much.
Kevin, who are you taking in Bristol?
In Bristol. Well, do you got the starting grid there? I just put I walked out of the room where I had my grid.
I can give you the top 10. Keselowski, Almirola, Logano, Blaney, Truex Jr., Chase Elliott, Kyle Busch, Kevin Harvick, DiBenedetto, and Denny Hamlin. That is your 10. Jimmy Johnson is 24th.
Jimmy don't drive mean enough to win from the back of at Bristol. That's going to be a Keselowski. If he's at the front, I would go ahead and put my money on that one. One thing about the Chase Elliott thing that Terry will fail to mention, Hunter and Tom, since y'all are not NASCAR aficionados, is Terry did used to be a Earnhardt fan, and he likes Kyle Busch, and it's the same driving style. Well, lo and behold, Dale Earnhardt's one of his main rivals, of course, when he was driving, was Bill Elliott. So if you're expecting Terry to give any person named Elliott in racing any type of credit for anything, y'all are expecting way too much from him this morning. Besides those biscuits he brought you.
You know, it was, but Bill Elliott drove. Well, I know he drove Fords for a while. Did he bounce back and forth? It seemed like maybe at one time. It seemed like I always remember Bill Elliott driving Fords. I remember when it was the Budweiser car that he drove, and that was a Ford.
I can't remember. Last one I ever saw him in was a little Pinto. Yeah. Okay.
Well, I will say this. Speaking of Fords, I don't know if this is going to kind of foreshadow the winner, but 6 out of the top 10 are Ford drivers. So Ford is sitting at 1, 2,
Mustang, baby,
3,
Terry.
4,
Mustang.
and 8 and 9. So that is the Fords 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, and 9. In between that, at the 5 is a Toyota, 6 is a Chevrolet, 7 is a Toyota, and 10 is a Toyota. So it looks really Ford heavy this weekend. If you're a betting man, you might want to put your money on Ford.
Yeah, and it's one of them races that people have to understand. If you're not going to bump and grind with everybody, then get back on in the back, because Kyle Busch, Brad Keselowski, Joey Logano, Kevin Harvick, those drivers are going to be at the front. If the ones who never want to touch nobody, this is not a race for you.
So you're saying the aggressive driver
is going to come into the front. Now, they might wreck
I'm going to tell you.
as they trying to get there, but they're coming.
If you don't watch a whole lot of racing, watch the last 10 laps at Bristol, though. Just if you watch the last 10 laps, it's going to be, it gets fun.
If I watch any racing, it's the last 10 laps.
Yeah, but seriously,
That's bad.
but
I hate to
it's
put it
different.
that
Like
way.
Terry will tell you, it's different watching the last few laps at Talladega than the last few laps at Bristol.
Yeah.
Because they're all right there, together.
But hitting somebody there,
it's
it's not
different.
like Talladega. When you mess up at Talladega, you take out everybody. When you mess up at Bristol, it could be just the guy right there in front of you.
Yeah, I mean, it could get, it gets a little, there's a lot of contact, shall we
Yes.
say.
Kevin, are you surprised that we have such a Ford-heavy top 10 going into Bristol?
Bristol's kind of random on that. I'm not really on that. The Rodney Childers does a good job with the Harvick team leading the way on that. So any of the Ford stuff on that they'll, it seems to me they may have. He was talking about how they're really good on the short runs. So at Bristol, that's about all you're going to have for the most part. So the Fords may have maybe a better get up and go than they have stay in power. You know what I mean, as far as speed. Yeah. So we may be looking at a Ford better on the short tracks type of thing this year, and the Chevys are doing better on the bigger speedways. Is what I'm thinking. I don't know. Terry, what do you think about that?
I would agree there. I would have the same comments that you just got through making.
Then the question I'm going to pose
that's what I pay the big money for.
Yeah. The question I'm going to pose then as well is, it's easy just to pick somebody that's in the top 10. Do you see anybody outside of the top 10 making some sort of push to try and at least win the race? Even if it's not win the race, maybe get a top 5 finish.
Name some of the people outside the top 10.
I'll go to 20. At 11, Bowman. 12, Kurt Busch. 13, Byron. 14, Kenseth.
Yeah.
15th, Eric Jones. Stenhouse Jr. at 16th. Newman at 17th. Nemechek at 18th. Buescher at 19th. And Austin Dillon at 20th. So that's going to the 20 outside of 10. Anybody outside of the top 10?
Just those two that if I had to pick two, and if they were up front towards the end, Kurt Busch and Ryan Newman, because both of those will go for it. I mean, Ryan Newman, he if he can't beat you on the track, he'll wait and beat you up after the track. Yeah.
Any of those you're going to take outside of the top 10, Tom?
No, I'm going to defer to Terry's judgment on that. We're going to let that Terry and Kevin handle that one because they're the ones that are more little.
It's hockey time.
Kevin is just enjoying himself, and he's
He's
rubbing it
winning.
in.
He
I'm telling you, he's a winner.
He's rubbing it in. It feels
he looks like that little kid, that nobody would play with. Has to go over there in the corner.
I
and
sure am glad I'm not there.
play with his imaginary friend.
Kevin, anybody outside of the top 10 you're taking to win this race in Bristol?
I haven't lost to myself yet this morning, guys. I'm on a roll.
When is it?
That's who's winning in Bristol. Huh?
So it's 3:30 p.m. Sunday. Do we have coverage of that on WCSL?
Well, does the cat got climbing gear, Tom?
That's
Let's
what
go.
I thought. I just wanted to make sure that I got that. WCSL will have that race at 3:30. What time does coverage start, Calvin? What time are they going to start covering that? 2:30. Okay.
So 2:30.
So 2:30 on Sunday. When you're out for your Sunday drive, put on WCSL. Listen to the Food City 500.
Food City 500. I'm going to give my pick.
Kevin, I'm going to give you a lot of credit here. I like you being way over there because I get to talk more, number one. And number two, I like Calvin being in here because he's back there in that back room, but he's letting us know everything that we need
That's
to
right.
know.
He listened there. Do we have it on WCSL? Yes, sure.
Yeah, we just listened for the peanut gallery in the back just to give us the answers.
When I come in this morning, Hunter looked at me and said, Kevin is not here, so you're going to be able to say whatever you need to say.
Well, not everything, Terry. See, if you'd come in on the podcast, you can say whatever you want, but the FCC regulations might hold a little bit of that back.
I got a good voice. I cannot. Podcast might mess me up.
Oh, Terry. Jeez, Terry. If anything, it might, bring more followers.
You're doing a podcast right now, whether you know it or not. You just got radio.
Driver I would put maybe outside of the top 10. I would probably pick Alex Bowman. Just because of how the Chevrolets have been running the past few weeks. I wouldn't be surprised because I'm looking here from 10 after 10. Chevrolet, Toyota, Chevrolet. So a bunch of Chevrolets following up just outside of the top 10. Wouldn't be surprised just with how they have stages set up and everything. Wouldn't be anything can happen. Anybody can make a pit that's sets somebody up to really move up in the standings, move up on the polls. So. I'm going to take a Chevrolet. Other than that, though, inside the top 10, I've been riding high trying to have Ryan Blaney. I thought he would win last week in this past weekend in Charlotte at some point. Didn't quite happen, so I'm going to take Ryan Blaney again. He's sitting in the 4 spot this week, so as long as nothing fails and the Fords continue to prevail like they showed they were going to here, hey, I might come out on top with an actual winner this week. You never know, though. It's such a pick'em. Such a pick'em.
I guess I'm gonna say. The spirit, for KTC, our new favorite driver, Cole Custer, he's going to start in the 22nd position. He's going to finish in the top 10. I'm not going to say he's going to win the race, Terry. He's going to get up to the top 10. Another young rising star in NASCAR.
I can figure if I was racing at Bristol, my worst nightmare would be to be at the front, have Ryan Newman beside me, have Kyle Busch behind me, then on the other side have like a Joey Logano, Brad Keselowski, Kurt Busch, all these guys right behind me.
So this is Terry Reinhardt's worst case scenario if you're leading Bristol.
Because if I am a Jimmy Johnson driver, I'd be like I'm getting ready to get wrecked with all of these guys behind me.
Getting ready to get wrecked. Well,
40 cars on that tiny. That's a lot of cars.
It is.
Track.
I guess it comes down to this as well when you're in first. Your mindset, are you going to just play to not lose a lead? Or are you going to, I said play, are you going to drive to not lose a lead, or are you going to drive still very aggressively? And I just basically should have said, you're just going to drive defensively, just trying to fend people off from trying to pass you, or are you just going to try and race your race?
You got to be Kyle Busch and go for it. You can't worry about what all them other guys do. I'm here, I'm up front, and it's going to take everything y'all got to do to get around me.
Got to be Kyle Busch, just put a couple people on the wall?
Yes, it would. Whatever it takes.
And get him out of your way.
I mean, the other day, he had room. He had room.
Would you say Kyle Busch then has the Michael Jordan mindset? My goal was to win.
It
at
is.
all
Ask
costs.
Him. Yeah. I mean, when he got on television that time, and it's one of the greatest things, he said, "Oh, y'all just quit your crying. You know, I mean, I love that. Some people said, "Oh, I hate that guy for
Oh,
doing that."
Michael Jordan was not a dirty player, though. That's the difference. He wanted
Michael
to win.
Jordan talked as much trash.
That's
to
not being
anybody.
a dirty player. It's not being a dirty player. Draymond Green is a dirty player. Okay, Michael Jordan's not a dirty player.
Do you guys see our cohort?
I'm watching him.
For those of you,
He's laid
for those
back
of you
on
that
the
are
hammock
listening
now.
on the
We have
radio,
watched him play all
you
kind of
cannot
things.
see this, but you can go to KDC Broadcasting really quick and see it. Kevin has decided that he wants to do a show
from a
hammock
Yes.
overlooking the Smoky Mountains. I mean, if this isn't basically Dave Portnoy doing a show for Barstool from his villa in Miami, then I don't know what it is.
Kevin, my question for you up there, what is the temperature? Do you have any idea?
It's great, whatever it is.
Oh, okay. I can believe that by watching you.
It's wonderful as the temperature, Terry.
It's probably the humidity's out there because it's been a rainforest here
Yes,
this
it
past week. I'm glad the humidity I think is going to be out of the air a little bit today.
Yesterday the humidity was bad up here. Right now, starting last night, it got a little cool last night and this morning. Then not like cold, just cool enough because the wind. I mean, I'm on top of a mountain, so the wind makes it a little cool. But I mean, the temperature is fantastic. It did get humid yesterday, and if you guys were wondering, as far as the city of Gatlinburg and Pigeon Forge, just the restaurants and everything are social distancing, but what's not social distancing is the tourist. There is not a letdown of cars. The traffic is just as packed as it always is, and there's a ton of people everywhere. So they said some of the restaurants are closing at like 9 p.m. And I told the guy, our waiter, I was like, dude, y'all have the same number of people in this town. Y'all could stay open probably if you want. I'm not sure, but some of the fun things haven't opened up. Dollywood hasn't opened up back up yet, and a couple of other things here and there. But for the most part, they're pretty open right here. I mean, we're just relaxing today this morning, and we're gonna head downtown. Have to, it's the anniversary weekend, so I guess I have to spend some money on the wife again today. So we'll see how that goes.
Oh,
What a guy!
darn. There's nothing
I guess
wrong
I'll
with that.
have to spend some money on the wife.
Yeah.
What a
I
guy!
guess I actually have to get off the radio show and spend time with her.
Oh
huh?
my
Oh
gosh!
my
Oh,
word!
it's terrible.
I'll tell you what. As I'm sitting here, I would love to be what you're doing right now. Just laid back.
Just laid back.
Yes.
Hey, can we get hammocks installed in here?
Yeah.
This hammock is so big, I might be able to fit one or two of y'all in here if y'all really want
No,
to.
that's okay. I'm good.
All right, what are we talking about next? Are we done with racing?
What are we talking about next? I thought I was going to try and fill this before our next break with racing. JP, how are we looking on until break?
We can take another one right now.
Yeah, well, let's do that.
Let's do that.
that.
What are we coming back with?
When we come back, we're going to speak on the NFL. We're just going to touch
All
on the NFL. There's been a quote that I've seen from a coach, and I would like for us to really dive into it. So we will be back after this break here on KDCBroadcasting.com.
Spending too much time at home with nothing to do? Then go shopping. That's right, go shopping at whatsupshopper.com. Local area